The legacy of Ethan Klein is unlike any other on YouTube. Even though today public opinion on him is split, and the majority of his focus is on the H3 podcast, back in 2016, Ethan and the H3H3Productions channel were a force to be reckoned with. He and his wife Ela were some of the most well-liked people on the platform, with each of their videos having the potential to make a big difference to the YouTube community. Today, his most prominent enemies are often framed as Keemstar and Leafy is Here, two figures which have certainly been integral to the history of the H3 channel. However, there are also a number of lesser discussed people from the H3 Rogues gallery who are a part of the channel's past and have their own unique histories. And not all of these people have been considered enemies of the Kleins. Over the channel's history, they've discussed a lot of people, sometimes to laugh at, sometimes to call out their misdeeds, and at other times to make cases for their defense. Because of their large following, H3H3 videos would often have an influence on these people's lives, for better or for worse. So, in today's video, I'll take a look at some of the most important people featured in these old videos to find out what became of them after their time in the spotlight. Antonio Lavano was a prank creator producing content as far back as 2011 on both YouTube and Facebook. At the time, he owned 4 YouTube channels, which he used to pump out videos in a very content factory-like fashion. His videos were so vastly popular due to their style of provocative thumbnails and titles that they became a staple in the website's culture for all the wrong reasons. The content was infamous because not only was a lot of it either harassment or flat-out fake, but his tactics of peddling it to audiences were sleazy. For instance, when posting videos, Antonio would stuff the descriptions full of any tags he could, and he also was known to upload the same video over and over again on different accounts just to squeeze more money out of them, something which YouTube actually disallows in their spam policy. Although what crossed the line for most people was that much of his content was stolen from other creators and platforms, which he'd simply add his own intros to in order to make it seem as if he'd created them himself. At this time, the H3 channel had taken a focus to discussing prank-related drama, so in April of 2015, Ethan made his first video discussing the SoFlo Antonio channel and flaws with its content. In a follow-up video, he would discuss his Facebook page, as well as interview a creator who had their video stolen, which disproved SoFlo's claim that he had asked permission from those whose content he reposted.
SoFlo is a unique case, and he is beloved by all of us for such a great reason, and that's being that he puts himself in the videos he steals to somehow make it more like his brand.
Watch this really closely.
25 million views, 0 credits given. You just got pranked, son.
Antonio made several response videos, but as you can imagine, nothing could dig his reputation out of the hole he'd gotten into. Ethan released 3 more videos as the two went back and forth at each other for months.
If he realized he couldn't find success making his own videos, what did he do? That's right, guys. Even Ethan Klein, who accused me of stealing videos, which I licensed, and he himself stole videos to start off, and he still does, guys. Watch this. Not his video. Example number 2. Again, not his video.
One of the most interesting events in this feud was that Ethan created a Facebook page called SoFlo Bro, which stole Antonio's content much like he himself had done to many others. Ironically, Facebook deleted the page and gave all the likes it had gotten to Antonio instead. Things would take a turn when in January of 2016, Antonio's 4 channels, SoFlo Antonio, SoFlo Comedy, SoFlo Pranks, and SoFlo Antonio Vlogs were all suspended for terms of service violations. But this didn't last. Possibly out of fear of termination, Antonio stopped using stolen content, but as time passed, he faded into obscurity regardless. Today, all of his accounts are drastically different. His biggest channel, SoFlo Comedy, has now been rebranded to center around news about NFTs and cryptocurrency, under the name Crypto Cake. Antonio himself is absent from the content, so it's possible he sold the account to others who hoped to utilize his large subscriber count to give themselves an instant following. However, if you examine the views, it appears this did not work out. His SoFlo Pranks channel went through a makeover of its own, and is now titled SoFlo 2.0, posting gaming videos, again, much of which he appears to be absent from. Interestingly, the descriptions of them are all stuffed with the default text he'd set for his pranks, and many of his titles are just called YouTube. Today, SoFlo 2.0 has gone completely inactive. as has SoFlo Antonio Vlogs. The only channel that still definitively belongs to him and remains active is his original SoFlo Antonio account, which is now just called Antonio. He largely stopped uploading following the drama, but within the last year has returned once again with very similar content that has received almost no attention. But despite the state of his channels and the deletion of his Facebook page, Antonio caught himself a second wind of fame with the rise of TikTok, and appears to be right back to his old ways, 9 million followers strong, something which Ethan himself doesn't seem too pleased about.
Which is ironic, because that's what he used to do with people.
Right.
His content.
Yep.
I found it. It is on his TikTok. It has 1.8 million views.
No! No! God, no!
I'm sorry, that's a part 2. Part 1 has 6.2 million views.
No!
That sucks. Bella has to go on a date with him now.
No, I hate that this shit always works. It always works. He's so fucking dumb and bad and makes the worst content, and it always works, and I don't know why.
Antonio was far from being the only prank YouTuber Ethan would discuss. There was another by the name of Chris Monroe who ran the channel Prank Invasion. Similarly to Antonio, Chris's videos were highly controversial for their sexual themes, often crossing the line into being softcore porn. His most infamous upload centered around approaching girls on the street and offering to play some kind of game with them, with the penalty for losing being a quote-unquote quick kiss, which would always end with an uncomfortably long and over-sexualized makeout scene. During Ethan's videos critiquing him, he'd often point out that despite it being very obvious that these videos were fake, Chris tried his best to market them as real, and claimed that if people pledged to his website, they too could learn his methods of picking up any girl on the street, playing into the, at the time, budding genre of pickup artists. This sparked outrage for Ethan, since many of his viewers were children that were having their naivety exploited for money. Plus, the pranks themselves seemed to get worse and worse with time, venturing into highly sketchy territory with premises like Mommy Makeout Day, where he would kiss pregnant women or women with their children present, as well as others in front of their family. Most found the videos to paint all the groups involved in a very poor light, which to Ethan made it especially troubling, considering that Chris continued to claim his videos were real. Ironically, the increasingly raunchy videos were actually in response to Ethan's videos, as well as backlash from the wider community whose negative coverage was seen by Chris as a way to simply garner more attention, whether it was good or bad. He would take any publicity he could get. In his mind, this was a chance to get a new audience that he could appeal to by upping the controversy to his content.
You can't purposely make a video for H3H3 Productions to react to. It needs to be natural cringe. And that's true. When you become self-aware and baiting, that invalidates the cringe and automatically makes it something not interesting to watch. But listen as Joey continues. But if you try so hard for the reaction, that in of itself will become cringier than the content. But
What up, invaders?
here's
Chris
the problem
here.
with
I'm
Chris. He's so intentionally baiting me and other commentary channels at this point that I feel like I can't make a video about it anymore.
Yeah, it kind of ruins it.
Ethan made 10 videos on Chris, but soon it became obvious that by doing so, he was only feeding into the problem he claimed to hate so much. So H3H3 content surrounding him ceased altogether. By this time, YouTube had also begun the first steps to instituting its demonetization program, and less than a year following Ethan's final video on him, Chris made mention of him having problems with ads. On the same day as this tweet, a user of the H3H3 subreddit discovered Chris was attempting to sell the Prank Invasion channel for $135,000, meaning it's possible that either the majority of his content had been demonetized, or he'd been kicked from the partner program entirely. His channel was renamed for sale, but unlike SoFlo Antonio, Chris was unable to find a buyer. With no recourse and his revenue stream largely cut off, he then decided to double down on trying to recapture the attention of commentary channels through various means, and would be successful one last time with the Kissing My Sister and Kissing My Mom pranks in April of 2019. Several large figures, including Ethan himself, would discuss the topic, but the publicity would fade shortly after, leaving Chris with an even worse reputation. 2 months later, he would post a farewell tweet and eventually delete the original YouTube account in September of 2019, leading the situation to be covered by various drama channels here on YouTube, such as SunnyV2. Following his initial disappearance, a YouTuber came out about her experience with Chris, saying he'd gone as far as to pay her for sex while marketing the transaction as just another kissing prank role in his videos. Some speculate that Chris left the internet in order to dodge backlash from these rumors, but it's actually unclear. Strangely, this video would end up being deleted later on. That being said, eventually the Prank Invasion channel was actually reinstated on YouTube. Now named Trending Pranks, it appears Chris has nothing to do with it, and its host is instead a man by the name of Risky Rob. It seems that Chris managed to sell the channel after all. Since then, he hasn't been seen on any social media. From what little is known, he now most likely lives in Las Vegas, but it's unclear whether he's resurfaced under a new name, or if his days in the internet spotlight are behind him for good. Of all of the prank channels discussed by Ethan during the height of the genre's popularity, there was none quite like Joey Salads, run by a man known as Joseph Saladino. He got his start midway through the short-lived run of Vine, where he posted pranks destroying various items belonging to other people in his household, before moving his following to YouTube, where he began creating longer content of a similar variety. Much like other genre staples, Joey made fake pranks designed to garner outrage, that outrage turning into controversy and putting him into the spotlight of H3H3. Rather than the issue being that his videos included harassment or sexual content, the main critique boiled down to the fact that Joey would often use his staged pranks to promote political agendas. Examples include him dressing up as a woman and entering female bathrooms to discuss the transgender bathroom topic, which was a big debate at the time, as well as several instances of him going into black neighborhoods with different things intended to cause outrage.
In today's society, there are child predators lurking all over the internet.
Hi, I'm Joey Salads, and I'm riding the wave of Your Children Will Be Raped mania, made popular by Colby Person.
Are you out of your mind?
One time it was an All Lives Matter sign, and in another it was a car decorated with Trump merchandise. Many, including Ethan, argued these pranks encouraged hate towards certain groups, because Joey would stage the reactions to fit with his intended message, creating a warped version of reality and often making others look bad as a result, all while insisting that the videos were real. For instance, he had black actors destroy the Trump car and attack him for holding the All Lives Matter sign, with the intent of making it seem like this was the genuine outcome of these circumstances, which gathered a slew of racist comments on the video at his fake attackers. Similarly, most of the reactions from the women who encountered Joey in his transgender bathroom video were exaggeratedly negative, which painted the general populace as being far more intolerant than they may otherwise have been if the prank was, well, real. Ethan argued this gave viewers a twisted perception of the world and promoted hate, which eventually led to an interview conducted with Joey following the backlash of the Trump car prank, which proved to be his most infamous upload.
So, Joey, in closing, first of all, thank you for coming on and kind of explaining yourself a little bit. Appreciate you subjecting yourself to my abuse. Do you have anything you want to say just in closing for basically what's happened here?
I want to say that I apologize for the acts of those videos, and that I will be taking a more positive direction, a more real direction in my videos. I'm going to be slowly moving away from doing social experiments and moving more into doing more hidden camera documentary style videos, stuff that can't be faked, because I know I don't have everybody's trust anymore with these videos that I make.
Despite everything, he and Ethan's relationship proved to be more stable than with many of the other prank channels. Ethan even revealed that Joey would message him after each new video and express that he liked them. Most prank YouTubers by this point had caught on to how they could utilize Ethan's coverage of their content, but Joey seemed to acknowledge this rather than be deceptive about it, and he and Ethan remained civil with one another. Unlike most of the other prank channels, Joey has been active over the years and still posts content, albeit irregularly. In 2019, he found a new outlet via politics when he decided to formally run for office as the House of Representatives member for New York's 11th congressional district. He ran as a Republican, but after an unsuccessful 6 months, he withdrew from the election and instead endorsed another candidate in his party known as Max Rose. Meanwhile, his YouTube channel had continued in the background, and the last prank video was put up in April of 2021. In his next video, posted 8 months later, he stated that he'd gone on hiatus after having gotten all of his YouTube accounts demonetized for discussing a topic that was disallowed at the time during a podcast.
And apparently some of the things that I was saying back then were not approved by, the government and the big tech overlords. Stuff that I was saying was not approved at that time. So as punishment, they demonetized every single channel that I owned.
60 days later, he has yet to upload again, so it's unclear whether or not Joey will have his monetization restored, or if any new content will come from him in the future.
What I do
The last, and arguably most memorable of the prank figures discussed on the H3H3 channel was Ethan Bradbury. He and his brother Mo ran a channel called AukTV, which was later rebranded to Mo and Ethan, and posted fairly standard issue content as far as prank channels go. But it wasn't their content that made them stand out. They were featured in 5 reaction videos across Ethan and Hila's 2 channels, and during the second one, Ethan Bradbury in particular was acting quite odd. He had an energetic and almost unhinged presence throughout the video that made him the butt of the joke for most of the runtime.
What's up guys, I'm Mo Bradbury. I'm Ethan Bradbury. How would your children react if there was a house fire? Would they know how to escape? Well, today, we're gonna put that to the test.
Stop walking to me. Stop walking towards me like that.
What was that intro?
What is his face? Why is his name Ethan?
Why does it feel like they just killed someone?
With the release of the H3H3 reaction, the I'm Ethan Bradbury soundbite would become a well-known meme almost immediately. It was hard to go anywhere on YouTube without hearing it spliced into a video somewhere.
Hi, my name is Ethan Bradbury.
But it wasn't just pranks. The Bradburys were also a pivotal part of a strange time in YouTube history, typically referenced as Elsa-gate. They would make a number of strange videos which, while marketed to children, also included a number of bizarre innuendos and adult references. This caught the ire of the H3 channel, and the Bradburys once again became targets of the commentary mob.
Spider-Man and Frozen Elsa. You guys have probably seen about it, you probably heard about it. It's the weirdest fucking shit on YouTube. It gets like 1 billion views. If you look at like the top gaining channels of the last week, 20 of them are all Spider-Man and Elsa weird ass sketches. I went into the fucking lab. I watched this shit on quarter speed for you guys. Look who peeps out the fucking door right now. That's fucking Mo E.T.
Despite this, the twins were not hated nearly as much as some of these scummier individuals in the YouTube community. Ethan and Hila's relationship with the Bradburys remained civil, and there was no serious direct drama between them. Years later, while on the H3 podcast, Ethan Bradbury revealed that at the time, he didn't actually know what memes were, and never understood the spread of the clip. He admitted to being upset at H3 for starting the joke, but had come to see it differently later on.
I want to know more about it.
What do you guys think about our videos? Were you ever mad at me? Or upset, or like, man, fuck this guy? Yeah,
I was.
That's fair.
Everything you just said, yeah. Because, like I said, I don't know what a meme is, and you kept going at it, and you kept building momentum. So I was like,
We thought
the fuck is a meme, man? And then we didn't want the meme to keep going.
You didn't like the meme?
No, well, for like the longest time, I didn't know what a meme was. I'm so new to this meme world. Yeah.
Oh shit.
I swear. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
But like right now, I'm starting to get it. Get what it is.
Embrace it.
One of the funniest recent events to come out of the Bradbury universe was when Ethan recalled a video that was supposedly so bad that it could have landed Bradbury in prison. In August of 2020, Klein discussed a time during which he encouraged Ethan Bradbury to make a video asking people about their thoughts on the global pandemic. He did just that, but also coughed after asking each person, and then claimed to be infected himself. Ethan showed some of the video, but prefaced by saying that he did not want the full thing out on the internet.
We said, Ethan, wouldn't it be funny to just go and ask people what they think about COVID on the street? Because I was like, Ethan would be a great man on the street segment for the podcast. And I still do think that's true, by the way. We shouldn't. But so he's like, sure, I'm on it. And then what he sent us back was this video. And then when I saw this, I was like, dude, I can't, like, this, first of all, is horrible, and I can't show it, and I wish you didn't do this.
However, at one point, H3H3 would accidentally show the link to the unlisted video on stream, allowing viewers to access it and download the entire thing, which is now accessible on YouTube.
I have it. I think we should take that, man. I have it, that's why, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to enjoy my last few moments.
As for what the Bradburys have done in their time since then, their prank channel continued to be active until stopping abruptly in early 2018, and most of their ventures now have been on side channels. Ethan and Mo do have personal accounts, but only Ethan still releases content. Since the end of his prank career, he's been creating a variety of strange vlogs, for lack of a better word, while donning the persona of a character reminiscent of The Godfather. Ethan Bradbury still posts frequently on YouTube and Instagram, and his stunts are occasionally mentioned on the H3H3 channel even to this day. Another figure Ethan became affiliated with through his content was Tai Lopez, a self-help speaker and entrepreneur who ran a marketing company using YouTube ads in 2015, which became so recognizable it was a meme at the time known as "Here in My Garage." This consisted of Tai filming himself in front of a Lamborghini, as well as bookshelves, saying that with enough learning and the right actions, viewers can become successful enough to have that kind of money as well. This then naturally led to him inviting viewers to click on a link to his self-help services.
But you know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? Knowledge. In fact, I'm a lot more proud of these 7 new bookshelves that I had to get installed to hold 2,000 new books that I bought. It's like the billionaire Warren Buffett says, the more you learn, the more you earn. So click the link, go there, it's completely free to watch it, it's just a couple minutes. Invest in yourself. Always be curious. Don't be a cynic. Okay? People see videos like this and they say, oh, that's not real, that's for somebody else. Don't listen. Don't listen. Be an optimist.
Following its viral recognition, Ethan discussed the video and poked fun at the sketchy nature of the business. The whole setup seemed to be a scam since it was possible that Tai had rented the Lamborghini and garage space just to film the video in order to add credibility to his character and give his words more value. It didn't help that the video contained exaggerated statements that were easy to disprove, such as Tai claiming that he read a whole book every single day. In reality, he stated he'd only read the synopsis, and Ethan made sure to mention that.
This is a storage space and you rented that Lamborghini. Let's just get that out of the way right now, okay guys? Let's just put that on the table. This is a storage space. Whose garage looks like that? It's kind of obscene how every detail of this video is so purposeful. The Lamborghini, the garage, the bookshelf, the iPhone recording. This guy's a sicko, dude. This guy's a sociopath.
3 months later, Ethan would critique another video of Tai's in which he gives a tour of his house, with Ethan revealing that the property in question was listed on Zillow, implying that it was most likely just a set used to film his promotional videos. It seems that all of this caught the attention of Tai himself, because around a year and a half later, Ethan posted another video revealing he'd visited Tai's house personally, all while being surrounded by lawyers at every turn. 2 months later, Tai came on the H3 podcast, and during his appearance, Ethan and Hila had arranged for a friend dressed as a lawyer to follow him around in a similar fashion as their visit to his place. But from here, things seem to kind of die down between the two. Today, Tai's YouTube content has grown stagnant. He gets an occasional jump in views here and there, but nothing quite reaches the success of his first ad campaign. His offline life, however, is another story entirely. Tai has become much more successful with time and continued to release self-help content. He's also grown very invested in discussing cryptocurrency, strangely acquiring the rights to several well-known but bankrupt brands like Pure One and Radio Shack, with the intent of quote-unquote reviving them in the online world using their existing name recognition. He's also sparked media attention because of his presence in the NFT space, being covered in media article after media article where his practices are heavily criticized. Perhaps most well known as a crypto scam critic, the YouTuber CoffeeZilla has made several critical videos about Tai, discussing his strange business model of selling NFTs off as defunct brands which have no real market value or function. Despite the criticism, Tai largely operates away from the YouTube community, simply using his platforms to push his NFTs and cryptocurrencies, as well as his self-help business. It seems that despite the fact he's returned to his roots as a rather dubious businessman, his time as an internet meme is for the most part behind him. But before I go any further, a message from today's sponsor, Manscaped. Look guys, I'm not a little boy anymore. I'm a man, and being a man means taking care of yourself. Manscaped sent me their Performance Package 4.0, which includes a lot of cool items. It's really an all-in-one men's grooming and hygiene kit, but the coolest item to me is the Lawnmower 4.0. It's cordless, waterproof, and even doubles as a flashlight. It's designed with advanced skin-safe technology, which reduces cuts and nicks that could occur on the most sensitive regions of the body. It's even got 90 minutes of battery life for longer sessions. For a limited time, they'll even send you 2 free gifts, the Shed Travel Bag and Manscaped Anti-Chafing Boxer Briefs. So, if all of that sounds good to you, go to manscaped.com and use promo code TURKEY to get 20% off, as well as free international shipping and these 2 free gifts. Manscaped.com, promo code TURKEY. Alright, now back to the video.
The greatest thing that happened to me, all the singers I'm connected with had hits.
The year 2016 was a politically charged time for the internet. With the election just around the corner and social justice becoming an increasingly relevant topic in the community, it was all too common to see viral internet videos centered around so-called feminists or social justice warriors. One of the more recognizable memes to come from this wave of content was humongous, a short video of a man being asked what his name is, responding with a joke by saying humongous, and the uploader lashing out and yelling that she was being sexually harassed.
Yeah.
You want my name?
Yeah, sure.
It's humongous.
Okay. Humongous what? Humongous what?
Humongous.
Humongous what?
Humongous.
Humongous what?
Humongous.
Humongous what? This person just sexually harassed me.
I said I'm humongous.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Humongous what?
Humongous.
So now you're actually pointing to yourself. You're actually pointing to your body parts, and you're actually pointing to your body parts and saying that you're humongous.
The woman behind the camera was Zarna Joshi, who had a reputation for getting outraged very easily and escalating situations. During the video, she attempts to have security arrest the man for his comment, and the rest of the runtime follows her as she gets into arguments with other people at the event. The footage quickly went viral, with many YouTubers, including Ethan, reacting to it and expressing support for humongous. A few weeks later, the man himself joined Ethan for an interview where it was revealed that his real name was Rudy Pantoja, and the footage itself was from a city council meeting that he'd attended to express support for a bill to have a new police precinct built after another in the Seattle area had helped his daughter get off drugs and be rehabilitated.
Oh, he just pointed at his penis, which I never saw you do that.
You're actually pointing to your body parts, and you're actually pointing to your body parts and saying that you're humongous.
You were talking about your stature, your largeness as a man.
I was talking about, I'm fat. I'm fat.
Thanks to this interview, he became an endearing figure, both to many onlookers and to Ethan himself, especially since Rudy closed off his appearance by asking viewers to donate to the charity program, which had aided his daughter. The situation then escalated when Zarna herself responded, doubling down on the accusations against Rudy and creating a fundraiser for her safety and well-being. Ethan discussed this and donated as a joke, but shortly after, he came to learn that Rudy was suffering from cancer and had resorted to selling off his possessions to pay for treatment, all while not taking the opportunity to generate money for himself through the exposure from his recent interview. In response, Ethan created a fundraiser for Rudy with a $10,000 goal. By the end, it had acquired over $150,000, changing his life outlook for the foreseeable future. After a follow-up interview and an appearance on the H3 podcast, Rudy faded from the public spotlight, although he was mentioned in news outlets again in 2017 when he ran for the 8th city council position in Seattle but was unsuccessful. Even still, he stayed active in his community and attended several more events since then, as well as continuing his job as a landscaper. In a similar vein as humongous, another figure to come out of the 2016 political sphere was Ken Bone, a power plant operator from Illinois who participated in a question and answer portion of the second presidential debate shortly after nominations. While his question itself was fairly normal, Ken's name and appearance made him stick out. The idea of a man in a big red sweater with a mustache and the name Ken Bone was oddly endearing to the audience. Before he even left the debate, his Twitter was racking up thousands of followers, and within days, he was being interviewed on mainstream TV by people such as Jimmy Kimmel and Trevor Noah. The event became so widespread that today the Wikipedia page for the 2016 debates has an entire section dedicated to the notoriety of Ken Bone. However, this fame would prove to be troublesome. Ken hosted a Reddit Ask Me Anything shortly after and used his long-standing account rather than create a burner for the event, which resulted in countless journalists digging through his comment history to try to uncover dirt on him for hit pieces. Several articles took his post out of context to paint him poorly, resulting in Ken's public perception souring almost instantly. However, Ethan created a video in his defense, elaborating on the comments the media was fixated on, and largely saved his reputation.
And the title, okay, the titles of these articles, Ken Bone is kind of an awful guy. The New York Post. Ken Bone's disturbing Reddit history shows he's not nearly as adorable as we thought. The fact that he didn't use a throwaway account almost makes him an even better guy, because he's like, I have nothing to hide.
Shortly afterward, Ken came on the H3 channel for an interview where the two discussed the matter further, and Ethan encouraged viewers to write in humongous and Ken Bone as candidates for president and vice president of the 2016 election, leading them to actually rank higher than Jill Stein in Florida for that year. As time passed, Ken drifted away from the public eye. He keeps active on social media to this day, but this too would end up causing him issues. In April of 2018, he posted a photo of his son learning to use a gun as a response to a post by one of the Parkland shooting survivors who was advocating for gun safety, which led to Ken's son being suspended from school. The suspension itself was eventually undone, but this proved to be the last major news story Ken was associated with. In late 2020, The New Yorker created a mini documentary about his sudden fame, and in it, he reflects back fondly on the events of 2016, but states that he missed being a part of the zeitgeist. His tale seems to be one of an ordinary man exposed to the highest level of spotlight possible, before returning to his average life.
A free spirit, a wild thing, and you're terrified somebody's gonna stick you in a cage.
It should be noted that Ethan's content didn't always focus on specific people. The H3H3 channel would also react to funny videos that had entertainment value, even if it was unintentional. If something is strange enough to be memorable, the internet tends to want to spread it, even if the uploader lives in obscurity. This was definitely the case for a video known as How to Clean Your Gaming Computer. It was created as a basic tutorial designed to advertise a line of cleaning products for gaming-related devices by the brand Dustoff. What made this video notable were the out-of-touch lines and the odd mannerisms of its host, paired with the odd choices of editing that made it stand out for all the wrong reasons as an advertisement.
There must have been an entire bowl of cereal down in there, and enough skin fragments to clone yourself.
Oh, please do not clone yourself. One of you is cringe enough. 3 is too much to handle, dude. I gotta squint to look at this shit, man. Look, if you keep cloning yourself, man, I'm gonna have to close this video.
The brand channel that released it, known as Get Dustoff, has been inactive for nearly a decade, and their website appears to have been closed down. But several of the videos released during its lifespan were shared online before eventually being discovered by Ethan, as well as several other reaction-based YouTubers. The video discussing it was released on the H3H3 channel on November 22nd of 2015, and 3 months later, the actor from the video, who'd come to be known as the Gamer Gun Guy, posted an unexpected response video on his personal YouTube account. The video then transitions to a strange dream sequence Brody Quest edit, where he makes his way from acting job to acting job, and ends with a shot of Ethan's video watch page.
We're out of the bag! Really? Yeah. Really? 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 Really?
This response went on to gather over 600,000 views, and led him and his 2 friends to turn the account into a sketch comedy channel called Gamer Guy and the Guardians. Shortly after, they even posted a skit spoofing the H3H3 channel. This apparently caught the attention of Ethan himself, who mentioned it in a video just 4 days later, stating he actually enjoyed it. Today, however, things seem to have gone dormant. Sometime into its lifespan, the Gamer Guy and the Guardians channel was renamed to Jungle Sketch Comedy, and by mid-2018, they went inactive, with no new videos having come out to this day. From what little is known about Gamer Guy, he works as a motion designer and editor in Los Angeles, and appears to have been involved in a lot of projects in the time since the meme. However, similar to Ken, he's returned to his normal life away from the spotlight. There are many individuals Ethan has discussed who aren't memes or other YouTubers, but rather celebrities who often release laughable content online. Most of these people are so disconnected from internet culture that they never notice discussion of them or don't care to respond. With one exception. The name of that exception is Patrice Wilson. Patrice is a producer who became known in the Hollywood sphere for his services writing and directing music videos for young kids to star in at a rate of $2,000 to $4,000 per video. Essentially, this was for rich parents who wanted to artificially turn their children into breakout celebrities by going viral online. Now and then, this actually proved to work, but not in the intended manner, since today, Patrice is most well known for creating Rebecca Black's song Friday, which was once the most disliked video on YouTube. This was due to Patrice's laughable songwriting skills and very strange choice of visuals. As of its release, the song was widely considered to be one of the worst ever recorded. Fast forward years later, and H3H3 reacted to 3 music videos produced by Patrice that were similarly bad, but also contained a lot of creepy imagery. In one scene, Patrice was dressed as Mr. Rogers, peering into a window at a young singer, and later spiking her drink with a love potion. Some of these clips were so off-putting that it eventually led YouTube themselves to delete the music videos entirely. Naturally, Ethan made jokes at Patrice's expense about the disturbing moments, but at the time, this all seemed to have caused no issues, and Patrice didn't acknowledge it. Not until almost 2 years later, when he purged his channel's content and started a countdown livestream to December 1st of 2017, with H3H3 in the title. This was later acknowledged by Ethan during an episode of the H3 podcast featuring Post Malone. During it, the stream cuts to a variety of ominous clips, such as a shot of someone walking through a graveyard and a dark shower curtain.
What is that creepy fucking screen?
Dude, I have chills right now.
That screen is so creepy. It's like a CD screen, like a screen with like guck in it.
He was just moving behind it. No, it's not a screen.
No!
Oh, he's coming out. Oh, it's just on the other side.
No!
This drew many eyes to Patrice's channel, and from that point on, people began attempting to unravel this mystery. After some digging, it was discovered that most of the footage in the stream was taken from the trailer of an upcoming Amazon Prime show called Vantage Points, which Patrice was working on. From there, many realized that the stream and creepy behavior was likely a publicity stunt designed to draw in viewers for the show. When December 1st finally arrived and the countdown ended, the stream cut to the show's trailer, then to Patrice himself, who stated that Ethan's comments about him had taken away job opportunities and ruined his life.
H3H3, that name was in there because those were the videos that blatantly accused me of being things like a rapist, pedophile, I eat children. I really didn't understand that part, you know, and so his name had to be in there so he could watch and he could learn and know this is what happens sometimes to people. When you say certain things, it can ruin everything they do.
He claimed that he had done all of this to catch Ethan's attention in order to make a point about how seemingly harmless jokes can destroy a person's career. Very few who saw this video were sympathetic to Patrice's story, given that he had intentionally tied the stream to his new TV show and took no responsibility for any of the criticisms against him. After this, the Patrice Wilson channel was given to a girl named as Maddie Shy, who at the time he was producing a music video for, but it was later presumably returned to him, and some new content has emerged. The most recent videos on the channel, which is now named the Jesus Transparency Network, are bizarre, nonsensical edits which include religious imagery and music. Although no one truly knows what Patrice is up to now since he's kept his online presence to a minimum in recent years, it seems as if little has changed for him, and he's continuing to take roles in creating film projects now and then. Today, there aren't many controversies that can rally the entire website together against one creator, or two creators in this case. But 2016 was a different story. Many who found themselves in the midst of drama became pariahs, with the best example being Rafi and Benny of Fine Bros Entertainment. They're best known for their reaction video series, where they'll play viral internet content for different groups of people, like teens, elders, kids, and YouTubers to get some kind of commentary. But they would draw the ire of the community when they attempted to gain control over this broad format by trademarking the term react, and requiring others who make similar content to have to partner with them through a company known as React World.
We've seen the supportive ethos of what so many of us pioneered start going away. As digital media has become more corporate, the spirit of wanting to do things differently than traditional Hollywood has started to dissipate, but our company has never lost that spirit.
With React World, we're providing a way for people to make their own versions of our shows and do it with us. By licensing our formats and trademarks, everyone will know that you're doing this legally with our company's guidance.
We are so motivated for this. To know that our formats can inspire millions of people and opening that up for all of you to have the chance to do the same is as exciting as anything we have ever done before. And we look forward to the time when we can look back to this moment, to this video with all of you, knowing that this was when we all stood together, changed the way things were done, and created this first of its kind global community.
H3H3, as well as many other influential figures like iDubbbz, Leafy, Grade A Under A, and I Hate Everything all address this topic at once. The idea of copyrighting the term react, a concept so unanimous to the internet in general, seemed so ludicrous. As a result, the Fine Bros later apologized and retracted their trademark request, with the community having left them alone since. Despite how widespread the controversy was at the time, Rafi and Benny didn't suffer long-term consequences, and the account rebounded fairly quickly. In the years following, the main channel would reach over 20 million subscribers, and they would branch out with new accounts like FBE Live and Try Not To. In early 2021, several news outlets published reports from past employees of Fine Rose Entertainment that claimed the company had a long-standing history of racism and sexism in the workplace. It's difficult to observe exactly how this controversy affected them, but the channel has been sitting stagnant for over 3 years, teetering up and down right around the 20 million mark. Meanwhile, their views have decayed from 25 million per month to less than 3 million during this time. Even still, it's clear that Rafi and Benny Fine are financially stable with the numbers they pull now. The two also worked together to create a movie known as F the Prom, which was horribly received.
Why did all of this have to happen right before prom?
That's it.
What's it?
Prom.
It's unclear if this was their attempt to break into mainstream Hollywood, but their attempts so far have been unsuccessful, so it's most likely they'll continue their flagship series until they've squeezed the last bit of revenue out of it. There were many scandals in 2016, but one that stuck out as being particularly deceptive was the CSGO gambling scheme put together by two creators, Syndicate, formerly known as Pro Syndicate, and T. Martin. Back then, CSGO was especially lucrative when it came to its in-game accessories, which could be bought and sold for real money. Many third-party companies began utilizing this concept by enabling groups of players to join websites and pool their skins into a lottery with one random person getting all of them. Given that this was essentially unregulated gambling, Valve was issued a class action lawsuit for knowingly allowing these third-party websites compatibility with the game. But what made this relevant on YouTube was that one of these sites, known as CSGO Lotto, was in fact run by Syndicate and T. Martin, who would consistently make videos about it without disclosing that they themselves were the owners. A sleazy business tactic, which happens to be illegal. It could be implied that they even rigged their play sessions so they could win every time in order to drum up more attention for the site and their content. Whether this was the case or not is uncertain. T. Martin in particular became very vocal and denied them in a variety of ways, saying it wasn't a secret and that he'd always disclose this information in the description. But many YouTubers like Honor the Call, as well as Ethan and Hila, discussed the topic in videos, showing clips that proved this was all a lie.
My favorite part about this claim is that if you just go to his videos, you can simply check the Google cache and see that he's just added the disclaimers since this news came out. And even if you go to this video I just showed you where he lies about CSGO Lotto approaching him, he still didn't put a disclaimer in the description as of this time right now. All it says is best place for gambling skin, CSGOLotto.com.
The H3 video would reach nearly 10 million views, and to this day is credited with turning public opinion against T. Martin and Syndicate, who had been able to successfully dodge backlash up until that point. T. Martin then responded with an infamous apology video that was very vague and didn't take the accusation seriously, which only increased the backlash against him. Syndicate posted an apology in the form of a short tweet, probably the best course to take in the situation. Since this point, the two have continued their online careers with differing outcomes. T. Martin's main channel saw a decline following this drama, but after shifting focus to secondary accounts, he's rebounded and now has more subscribers than ever. His reputation seems to have largely healed in the time since, with very few people bringing up the drama today. Syndicate, however, would get deeper into controversy after this point. He'd been accused of not disclosing his connections to companies he'd discussed in videos before, once with an Xbox One sponsorship through Machinima, and a second time with a game he helped produce known as Dead Realm. Syndicate seems to not learn his lesson during the CSGO Lottery scandal, which is surprising, considering the fact that his business partner is the one who took the brunt of the backlash at the time. But that didn't mean there wasn't more controversy to come.
It was truly more sus than a character from Among Us. First off, he was accused of sexually abusing.
In mid-2020, during a wave of #MeToo allegations, Syndicate was accused of sexual abuse by the Twitch streamer Natalie Casanova, as well as his ex-girlfriend Caitlin Witcher. Syndicate ended up denying the allegations in a tweet which received nearly 100,000 likes, which most viewers saw as an adequate response. No one on either side was able to prove anything concrete, and as a result, people dropped the matter entirely. It seems that despite all the controversies he's gone through, whether he was guilty or innocent, Syndicate has managed to avoid any long-term damage. Of all of the controversies Ethan had with subjects of his content, the one that escalated the most was definitely Matt Haas. His most well-known series became his bold guy content, which usually consisted of Matt approaching a girl and seducing her somehow interspersed with parkour. Most would liken these videos to self-insert fantasies, making them laughable to anyone watching. Subsequently, Ethan and Hila made a video known as The Big, The Bold, and The Beautiful for their second channel, reacting to one of his skits, poking fun at him like they normally did.
I mean, that was actually a romp. That was a romp and a riot.
What's a romp?
It's a riot. A romp is a goof plus a spoof plus a gaff plus a riot equals a romp.
I've never heard that word.
Well, I'm just introducing it now. It's a new part. It's like saffron in the spoof soup.
The video went largely unnoticed by viewers at the time, but Matt did not take it lightly. The situation got out of control almost immediately when Matt filed a lawsuit against the clients for the video, which the two went public about a few months later. The case raged on for well over a year, with Ethan and Hila consistently talking about how in danger they were financially from the ordeal. Eventually, Philip DeFranco created a fundraiser for them to pay lawyer fees and court costs, with the entire community pitching in. Even many they had derided, such as the Fine Bros, decided to contribute to their legal fund, with Benny and Rafi donating a sum of $10,000. It was seen as such an egregious action that even those who weren't on good terms with the H3H3 channel joined in to give their support. When the lawsuit finally came to a close, Ethan and Hila won the case since their video was a textbook example of fair use, and were able to re-upload it on the main channel.
He removed the video. He thought it was a copyright violation, and YouTube was obliged to do it.
Yeah.
But since the judge has come out, and I think she said, if I can quote her, a matter of law, that it is fair use. Well, I see no problem because it was removed from Ethan and Hila that we shouldn't upload it right here on H3H3 Productions. So if you guys haven't seen it, go ahead and give it a watch and have a laugh. I think it's a great video.
Ironically, this got it more exposure than it ever would have received if Matt had never sued them for it. In the time after the lawsuit was filed, Matt continued to post content on his account, including a video where he explained his side of the situation. But this did little to paint him in a good light, and viewers were still not on his side. Shortly after the start of 2017, Matt abandoned his channel and all social media. He returned nearly 5 years later in October of 2021 and posted 3 videos over the span of several months, none of which broke even 10,000 views. It appears that the comment section of each video has also been carefully combed through, with only the most positive remarks remaining. He has yet to address anything regarding the lawsuit, and being off of most social media, no one really knows what he's up to today. It's strange looking back at the history of the H3 channel, especially considering how much has changed. Today, their audience is much different than what it was half a decade ago, but despite various waves of criticism, the brand has persisted, and to this day, they are clearly an important force in the online ecosystem. Whatever criticisms you, or I, may have, Ethan and Hila have made an impact on the website most can only dream of. Countless stories have unfolded around them that changed the lives of both their subjects and the clients. And I actually think that when I review all of this, there's an important lesson that we can all take away. It's that, no, I'm kidding, there is not, there is no important message. It's just a bunch of interesting stories. Thanks for watching. I've been Turkey Tom, and until next time, leave me alone.